Now, when you use Maya, you usually are animating to a very specific output. A lot of times we'll be animating for film output or video output, and we'll be animating for a very specific aspect ratio. Now, your screen or your viewport may not match that aspect ratio. For example, here, I'm on a fairly wide screen, so my perspective viewport is actually pretty wide. But let's say I was animating for just standard NTSC television, I'd have a 4:3 screen that I actually need to render for. So what Maya does is allows you to actually restrict your viewport so you can actually see exactly what will be rendered. A lot of this happens through the View menu under Camera Settings. So for example, we have what are called gates. There are two types of gates. One is the film gate. Now this is really for people who are using film, and this is exactly what will be shown on the film. If you know anything about film, you'll know that the film gate is not exactly the same as the resolution that we're using. So if you actually wanted to go for the resolution gate, what that does is actually shows you exactly what will render. And in this case, we're set for 640 by 480. So in this case, we have what's called the resolution gate. And when we actually set the resolution gate, it puts up these little green bars that shows you exactly what will render. Now, if you want to see that a little bit more clearly, you can turn on what's called the gate mask. And what that does is it actually kind of masks out the sides, so you actually have a much clearer view of exactly what's going to be in the final rendered output. Now, in addition to this, anybody who's done animation or has done work with motion graphics or television, you always know that we have what's called safe action, which is here. And we also have safe title, which we can do here. And this will just give us our safe action and title. And then in addition, anybody who's actually worked with animation will know what a field chart is, and this actually will give you an actual animation field chart, and that's actually a 12 field chart, for those who actually know what that means. Now, a lot of this is actually accessible through this View menu as well, so you can actually turn on most of this. You can turn on Safe Title, you can turn on Safe Action, you can toggle your field chart right here. You can also toggle your masking as well as your film gate and your resolution gate as well. And there's one more that you actually can toggle, and that's called the grid. You notice here it has a little grid here, and sometimes when you model, it's nice to have that grid as kind of a measurement point, or kind of like a piece of graph paper under what you're modeling, so that way you have some reference as to size and shape. So those are some of the ways that you can configure your viewport in Maya so that you can animate for very specific aspect ratio, and you know that you're actually going to be outputting what you see on the screen.